Japan first started developing more of an active role in international peacekeeping affairs in the mid-90s with a declaration between the US and Japan. In the past 3 years, they created the National Security Council, first attempt at a national security strategy, and new and reformed defense cooperation guidelines with the US. What are the reasons for this? Well, first, let's have a look at Japan's main security interests in the region. According to Go, maintaining US predominance in the region is point number one. Over 50,000 US troops are stationed in Japan, and this is in exchange for international and state development and support from the US. It is also seen as a deterrent of Chinese and North Korean aggression, as they pose a threat with territorial claims and nuclear weapon development. Developing a closer bond with China, increasing relations such as trade liberalization, as shown through APEC, the Asia-Pacific Economic Conference. This is the first sign of the balancing act that Japan must pull off in order to promote peace in the region. Pull enough weight promoting US presence and ideas in the region, such as democracy, so that it keeps its security guarantee, but not so much to aggravate China so that it feels entrapped, encircled, and held back. The third strategy is developing financial and institutional regionalism, promoting institutions such as ASEAN and the East Asia Summit, as well as creating the Asian Monetary Fund, which other Asian economies, through times of crisis such as the national disasters, can go in and help themselves to over US $1 billion worth. How can we interpret Japan's strategic choices in the region? Well, realists believe that Japan's mid-90s shift was in response to increase in security threats. Realists also believe that Japan would build up its own arsenal of nuclear weapons. Constructivists believe that the history of reluctance to pursue active military policy was due to the norms of society, however leaves open the question as to what will lead from Japan's recent shifts. Izumikawa attempts his own study in order to seek what was the cause of Japanese anti-militarism. Drawing from both realist and constructivist perspectives, from the norms of society, pacifism and anti-traditionalism sought to deter aggression from Japanese military. Also, a realist perspective from drawing on fear of entrapment as to why Japan didn't advance its active military policy. In the past 5 years, however, there has been a special kind of military expansion in adopting the National Security Council and National Security Strategy. According to LIFT, the current Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has a desire to make Japan a normal nation and also providing proactive contributions to peace. They hope to do this by expanding the scope of cooperation to include intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, also allowing Tokyo to deploy military assets in the defense of Japan. Are these more current developments of Japanese military policy driven by growing concerns of national security, or are Japan actually on the way to becoming a normal nation? How its interests and strategy affect other great powers? According to Van Jackson, the US also seeks to upkeep its military might in the region, promote economic liberalization in the pursuit of economic independence and modernization, in the hope of a unified democratic peace system. Also promote neoliberalism in an effort to create social norms in the wider international community. Avoiding the risks, however, of aiding allies militarily makes neighbours of these allies worry. Failing to follow through on radical commitments to lose geopolitical influence, and China perceiving a competitive economic advantage. Japan's promoting of multilateral cooperation through trade liberalism, APEC and East Asia Summit, aid US policy, also creating a democratic peace system and social norms. Japan and the US also share the goal of ensuring China's rise as a peaceful one. According to Freiberg, China seeks regional hegemony as well as maintaining an authoritarian government. China's goal of pursuing regional hegemony conflicts with the US and Japan's goal of a democratic international system. How have the other great powers responded? Well, Japan and China have gone through regional institutional racing, with China backing ASEAN and Japan promoting the East Asia Summit. Also, the US, since 1990 and 2015, military expenditure has gone from $555 billion to $595 for the US. Japan $43 billion to 46, but China $22 billion US dollars to $214 billion US dollars. China has embraced the institutional and economic regionalism within the Indo-Pacific region, however, is also standing up militarily and seeking to equal the military deterrence of the US and Japan.